Oh.
So as Justine stated, we are doing the Plan Your Future Now seminar. We are getting back in control of our lives and our possessions. As you see, we see social media posts all the time about somebody has passed and no one is prepared. Someone doesn't know what to do with the home. They don't know anything, and they're just everybody's running around scrambling, and people are arguing, fighting over crazy stuff, and then people want to know how to purchase a home. People want to know how to purchase a second home. People want to know what they can do to put their children in mind to do those type of things. So that's what we want to create with these type of seminars. Like I stated, we have had them before, but there's a need, always a need, especially after COVID. We learned there's a lot of needs that we didn't have. So if Miss Byrd, they can come up first, and yes.
Not someone first.
Your insurance needs.
It's not sign up for first.
Right.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kathy Byrd. I'm with Allstate Insurance. I have 27 years experience in the industry. I retired a few years ago, but I just came back and I'm working with Allstate. I am able to, for the real estate agents out there, I'm able to get your loans done. I'm able to get the property insurance done quick and fast for you and where you need it to be. That's one thing, but a lot of people don't understand about home insurance and that it is needed and what it is needed for. It's not just something that's just there. A lot of people they buy a home and they're told that they need to have home insurance. The home insurance is to rebuild your home in the event that your home is burnt down to the ground. We don't insure your homes for the market value. We don't insure your home for how much you paid for it or how much you owe on it. We insure your home. We want your home insured for it to be rebuilt from the ground if the work is run down to the ground. It's called replacement costs, and what you do is the land is going to be there if the house burns down. So that's why you're not insuring it to what the market value of the house, because the land is included in the price of the house. So important things to have on your policy with the homeowner's insurance is to have replacement costs. So when you come in and I write a policy for you, I do replacement costs in your house in 2024. You may notice on your homeowner's policy, short of inflation, that your policy actually, the face value of your homeowner policy goes up every year, and that's called inflation guard. And the reason why is, like, when your mom and dad bought their house in 1970, they bought the house for $25,000. We should have all invested in. But right now, if there wasn't inflation guard, you would have people in 2024 with $25,000 worth of coverage on their house. And it burns down and they have $25,000. That doesn't mean you're going to buy them a tent. So, so you will see your policy go up every year on there. Although recently, it's been very difficult because of natural disasters to keep up with insurance companies and how much their prices are increasing. But it's important to take a look at your policy. There are ways that you can control the premium on your policy, and that's by raising your deductible, but never raise it to something that you cannot afford. I have seen, I just came back a few months ago, I had somebody come to me with a $10,000 deduction on their home. That's absurd. So you have to look at your policy and know that you're going, what you have. It's important to have an agent, not an 800 number. That an agent that can sit there and compare your policies. I've had customers that are like, oh, well, I found insurance cheaper. Let me put your policy next to mine because I know that I gave you the coverage that you needed. The average deductible now is $1,000, but I've seen 2,500 and, like I said, the 10,000. So, but there are ways that you can control, but you definitely want replacement cost. You want to insure your home to replacement plus the replacement cost. And then they've also, in the past couple of years, the law has changed to whereas you have to have on your policy code insurance, because now they have to build your home to code. And so you, in the past, the insurance company was only required to replace what you had. So that's something else that you should have on your policy too, is that they can, it's a code guard. And so that way they have to build your home to code, and you're not coming out of pocket more than what your deductible is. And so, but on a homeowner's policy, you have the dwelling, you have the other structures, which would be your fence, your shed, your deck, your swimming pool, you know, all that stuff. And then you would have, your personal property. And a way to determine what your personal property, because you can control that amount on your, you know, on your policy. You may have a lot of stuff. You may think you don't have a lot of stuff. I tell people all the time to walk through their home with a calculator and then get back to me. Because your closet alone, you'd be surprised how much money is in your closet. And I'm talking the average. If you start dipping into the designer handbags and shoes, but that's all covered under your property. And so, pretty much it's, and you're with the homeowner's policy, when you're getting ready to go to settlement, the first year you usually will pay for the homeowner's policy out of pocket. And then after that, your mortgage company, as long as you have an escrow account, the mortgage pays it and you don't have to worry about it anymore. But you should be revisiting it every year. You should look at your policy when they send you the renewal each year. You should look with somebody. It's not smart to switch around. You know, you can always go back to your agent and have your agent look at it. And I'd be more than happy to be your agent. So at any point in time, if y'all need any advice on insurance, I have, like I said, 27 years in experience with insurance in the Maryland, DC, and Virginia area. Y'all have any questions for me? I'll be over here. Oh, that's fine.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Earthquake. You know, are you seeing people putting earthquake insurance on the houses now?
With the earthquake insurance, I see right now Allstate is not offering it. They did have it before, but I see one the other day that I came through from a company and their deductible was 25%. What that means is the value of their homes, but you know, the home was 500,000, their deductible was $125,000. So it's there, but the insurance companies aren't paying. Just understand, like if they're offering it, they're not paying.
Okay.
And that's my opinion. I mean, if you have $125,000, I just think so. But yeah, it's out there. We don't have it right now. I've seen it in the past, but it's.
Okay.
We just recently had an earthquake, if y'all know, up in New Jersey.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt a tremor down here. I felt there was a slight tremor when it happened, because I was actually on a Zoom call with somebody in New Jersey at the time, and her whole home. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So Ms. Kathy, we see a lot of people, rain comes through, it's a heavy rain. The next thing you know, the basement's flooded. And of course, people are gonna call in claims to get the carpet pulled up, to get the drywall treated and all the things. And I'm hearing varying stories of, you didn't have that type of coverage. This is not a storm that would allow that.
You should have order backup coverage. It's an add-on to your policy. It's an endorsement, and you should always have it. Like any agent. That's why I say to steer clear of the 800 agents, because any agent, especially in your area, is going to look on there and know that you need water backup coverage. I just personally had in my basement back in December, my sump pump stopped working. I could have called the insurance company, but my basement wasn't finished. I can't get up. You know, but if my basement was finished, it would have cost some money to, you know, to do that. But I literally cleaned it up myself. It was a mess. But I digress. But if you do have, as long as you have water backup coverage on your policy, you should be straight, you know, and then it is an endorsement though. It is not automatically in your policy. Any agent should put it on your policy though.
So is water backup coverage the same as flood insurance? How's that?
The difference with flood insurance, y'all got me on video, and I don't want to get this straight. Flood insurance is, you get that if you're in a flood zone. And it's required on your homeowner policy. It comes from standing, you know, it's coming from the sky, like coming in. I'm sorry?
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I thought you said something. There's a difference in flood insurance. Flood insurance is, I'm missing the exact words right now, so forgive me. But you have water backup coverage that comes in the house. Flood comes through the windows. And then when you have it coming through your basement foundation or your home foundation, that's not covered under anything. That's covered under, you would need to reinforce your home with that. But flood coming through the window is a different type of flood, like, standing water outside that comes inside, like you see in Alexandria, that happens a lot like that. That's why they're trying to protect that stuff, because that type of insurance is different. You would get that through the National Flood Insurance. Okay. And so, but the water backup is coming back into the house, it's coming from the sump pump, my sump pump stop working. Or the pipes and stuff, they back up, that type of stuff, that's what that is. But then the foundation, that actually falls on the builder. That's why you get a warranty on the house when you first get the home, when the house is built. You will see an issue within 10 years, and that's usually, how long is the warranty on a house, on a new build?
The warranty is normally 10.
10, yeah. You don't usually see that in 10 years if there's a problem with that, but like my neighbor just recently, she had years and years of it doing it, she never knew, but now her warranty has expired and she had to dig the trench around the house and they had to reinforce her home. So that's not covered under any type of insurance, but the water backup coming back into the house is, and then the flood that comes from outside is with the National Flood Insurance Board.
Wow.
Any other questions?
You know how some people come around and talk the roof damage and, yeah.
Y'all don't do it. Look, first of all, it's fraud. What they're doing is fraud. And what it does, after they come out there and they you might have had some damage, but you might could just replace some shingles, okay? They call into the insurance company, they get the insurance company to do it, they make a lot of money off of it, they help you with the deductible. You know how they help with the deductible? Because they made a lot of money that they didn't earn. But then after that, what happens is you now have a claim on your policy. And so it's going to hurt you. It might not hurt you with your current insurance carrier, unless you're making multiple claims, you're going to get canceled. If you want to switch around, you're not going to be able to switch for at least 3 years because you've had this claim on here that this guy came and knocked on your door trying to do this. Now, if you have real damage, you can call the company and have them come out there. Okay, call a real roofing company and not some guy knocking.
No other questions?
Well, I'll be over here and then I got some giveaways, and then if you'd like to quote or you'd like to talk to me this week, please sign up on the form and I will give you a call on Monday. If you want to talk about what you have
Thank you so much, Ms. Kathy.
first.
Since you're A.
You're good, ain't
Next, we're gonna have Ms. Michelle Wiseman from Wiseman Funeral Homes. We're gonna talk about preparation, families need to get ready for when that day does happen and how we prepare. Of course, she had to be. I put my shiny shoes on today because I knew Ms. Wiseman. We're just gonna try it. I knew I was gonna take it, but I was gonna try.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Lisa, for inviting me back. It's so wonderful to be back here. My name is Michelle Reese Wiseman. I am the owner and principal mortician of Wiseman Funeral Home in Camp Springs, Maryland. Now, I say Camp Springs, Maryland, because we just moved. If anyone is pretty much born here, you know where the old Classics nightclub was. That's where we were located. We specialize in earth burial, cremation, memorial services, national and international shipping and receiving of human remains. I am here to ask you this one very important question, and please talk back to me. Lisa said I only had 20 minutes, so there'll be a lot of information in this 20 minutes. So the question I have to ask to you is, when do you plan to die? Are you planning to die tomorrow, next week, in a year or two? When are you planning to die? Do you have a game plan? When do you think you're gonna die? Today, maybe? Possibly.
No, not really, but
Does anybody?
No man knows.
No man knows.
On the day.
Exactly. So I ask you that because I'm here to share with you, and hopefully you can understand and consider the importance of pre-planning. Pre-planning is something that you do ahead of your passing. It does quite a few things. First of all, it keeps you in control of your wishes and the things that you'd like to have done to celebrate your life. If in fact you're interested in cremation, which is really big right now, then you can let your family know, I wish to be cremated. We have a lot of families now, cremation is trending a lot. You have a mother who's probably 80 years old, and she was a staunch Christian for a very long time. I'm not sure if you all are aware, but a lot of their religions, they used to have a taboo on cremation, but they lifted the taboos. And so a lot of the older people are starting to say they want to be cremated. So you have a daughter that was in the room with mom when she passed who said, you know what, I decided I want to be cremated. But then you have another daughter who didn't hear the mother say that. And so you have a conflict because you have one daughter that said, mom says she wanted to be cremated. And then the other daughter says, you're not gonna burn my mom. You know, so you have a conflict. Pre-planning is a way to ensure that your wishes are carried out in the way in which you would like them to be carried out. It also gives the family peace of mind and a roadmap as to how to celebrate your life. And you want to make sure that you stay in control of that. You want to be able to celebrate your life in a way that's going to alleviate a lot of the stress and the burden from your family. Now, once you start to, a lot of families they do this thing where they go to the cemetery and they buy 10 plots, and they think everything is good when they buy 10 burial plots, and they actually forget to pre-plan for their funeral. And that's where they run into a lot of problems. And it's a big problem because funeral homes want to get paid as well. You want to get paid. It's a business for the most part. We put in place, we work along with Lincoln Heritage and all of the large major pre-planning insurance companies that will put funds in place for you. Pre-need insurance is a lot different from regular convention insurance. It's easier to pretty much to acquire, and you don't have to wait 6 to 8 weeks for your family to get paid. Pre-need insurance are usually you all pay out about 24 hours, 48 hours, because most funeral homes will basically say that they need their contract to be paid within a 48-hour period of time. Most conventional insurances will take about 4 to 6 weeks to pay out. If you go with final expense, something like Lincoln Heritage, we use NGL, they're able to fund your arrangements within a 48-hour period of time. And that's beneficial to you all. It's just a matter of you planning. You get insurance for your home. Like Allstate, you get insurance for your home, for your cars, for appliances in your home. It's just a good idea to be able to pre-plan for just handle the business for the rest of your life. You are the largest commodity that you have. Your family members they're the largest commodities that you have. And so you want to make sure that they are well taken care of. I am here to connect with you, to create a warm and fuzzy. You know, I always tell people it's really good to know your friendly neighborhood mortician, because all things are not created equal. All things are not created equal. You want to make sure that your family is in the hands and in the care of someone that has a clean facility, that is going to treat your family and your loved ones correctly, that everything will be fine with them. So you don't want to, as I experience all the time, grandma died on the floor going to the bathroom, and they call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, wanting pricing and, you know, wanting to know all kinds of things. You want to prevent those types of things, because what people do, basically, a lot of funeral directors on the phone, they're going to tell you, okay, it's $17.95 for this direct cremation, but when you get in the office, it actually doubles. So you want to take care to make sure that you can create, first of all, a relationship with a mortician. You want to make sure that your pricing is correct. And the other thing, and I speak on this quite a bit, there is a large black market crime scheme out here, and when I say black market, it means, okay, say if grandma dies on the floor and they tell you that cremation is $17.95, when it's really something like $35.95. So you've called Joe Blow Funeral Home and they sent a transport team out to get your grandmother. And on the way to wherever they're going to take her, they take her kidney. or they take a heart, or they take an organ, because it's a black market scheme out here. That's what a lot of people don't know. You have to do research. You want to deal with a reputable company, because there are a lot of things going on. A heart is about $100,000 on the black market. Kidney is about $50,000. So, there are a lot of schemes that people don't know about. So you want to go with a mortuary, you want to go with a funeral home, a trusted, someone that has a good name. We're rated A+ with a Better Business Bureau. We've serviced, we serviced the family several times. People are here. We have a good reputation. Check your Google listings as well. Do your research. Sometimes Google don't tell the truth. You have family members plugging in interest ratings or anything like that. But I encourage you to pre-plan. It's very important. Very important. Okay. Any questions? Yeah.
So when you're doing the planning for your children, is there certain documents that you would want them to have in order? If someone's, you even start the planning for process with your family. There's certain things that you would start to tell us to have in order. So when we come to the funeral home.
So generally, when you come to the funeral home and you pre-plan, it's pretty much the same as you do an at-need. You want to make sure that you have information in the way, of course, your legal name, age, date of birth, place of birth, your social security number, your father's name, your mother's name with her maiden name, last known occupation, just regular vital statistic information, because we put that in a database for vital records, because people are doing family trees and things like that. So years down the road, your great-great-great-grandchildren, they're doing some research, they want to be able to find their family tree. So yeah, you do.
Is there an insurance, Michelle, that you have, I think on the last time that you were at a seminar like this, that you talked about burial insurance. Is there?
Absolutely. So we are friends to Lincoln Heritage, who's here now. They're going to speak to you. They're a great insurance company. We also use NGL. They pretty much take off where Lincoln Heritage, NGL will insure. I think Lincoln Heritage insures up until 95.
No, we go up to age 85.
85. Okay, so they go up to age 85, their insurance, but I do have another company that will insure you up to about 95 years old. They also will insure if you're in a nursing home. Some insurance companies won't insure if you're imminent death or in a nursing home. So I do have two, Lincoln Heritage being one, longtime friends, and then NGL that will pick up where they leave off. Yes.
Any other question?
Is that two fees,
No, they're different companies. So it's the whichever company you use will pay the premium for that particular company. Is that what you mean?
The advantage of this is you have life insurance with different companies, but it takes so long to pay off. These companies will be able to provide the funds needed for the burial, and you don't have to wait for the insurance.
That's one advantage, but let me tell you the most important advantage, which I forgot to tell you. When you pre-plan and you use Lincoln Heritage or NGL to pre-plan with me, you lock in your prices, you freeze your prices. So say today, the average cost of a funeral is about $9,500. In about 10 or 20 years, that's gonna be $1,800,000. And so, but if you pre-plan, you lock in your prices, you freeze the cost of inflation, so your pricing won't go up. It'll be the same as it is today. So that's the largest advantage of pre-planning and pre-funding with an insurance agent.
Okay, Michelle, my question is, if you go with one company at 85, you still hanging on, okay?
Yeah,
Will the other company pick it up automatically?
there are two different companies.
Okay.
So it would be better to, it depends on what some people they're sick, they're in a nursing facility, say for you're in a nursing facility. Lincoln Heritage, they don't do nursing facility final expense. NGL does. So it depends, you have to weigh the options. you know, what your condition is, what your life expectancy, you know, things like that.
I think what she's saying is this. Lincoln Harris would take you up to age 85, but once you get that policy, it carries you for the rest of your life. It's whole life. It doesn't stop. It doesn't,
Oh, okay.
it doesn't
Okay.
cut off.
Oh, that's, yeah, the whole, it's the whole life, their whole life policy, they're all whole life policy. Yes.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I think somebody mentioned, she used this term, and I'm gonna steal that from you. When she said 800 agent.
Yeah.
See, a lot of 800 agents, they will sell you a policy that you grab off of TV. It's
a
over
term,
at
and it would
age
be-
80.
Yeah, and so a lot of insurance agents, the 1-800 agencies, they will sell you term insurance and you think you have a whole life policy, a universal policy.
Don't forget accident insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it's really tricky. It's always best to speak with someone in person, to have your own personal agent, funeral director, mortician. It's always best to talk with somebody because the agents, the large corporations, basically they're pushing numbers. They just want to push numbers. Yeah. Any other questions?
I just want to make a statement. The last time you did the session, you were telling us about the love letters and to your family. And
So, yeah, so thank you. So basically, what I basically tell people is when you pre-plan, when you make your arrangements and you put everything in a folder, it's almost like a love letter to the family, and letting them know that you love them enough to have made these arrangements so they don't suffer on the back end, because they're already feeling the loss of losing you. It can be very stressful. It can be a lot of trauma, especially if families are not in agreement with your arrangement. So if you already have those, if you already have that in place, it's a love letter to your family, your last love letter to you. Any other questions? You also very.
Michelle has information on the back table. I can tell you about Ms. Michelle, very several of our family members, so we have been just excellently, just pleased with the service and how they took care of us in those difficult times. So, a local business, a person you got to see in person and see, just like Miss Kathy and everybody else, again, the person you get to touch and see what makes the difference, that you have that solidified relationship now. So I know you get you.
No, only thing I wanna say is, all I wanna say, that is one of the nicest funeral homes in this area.
Thank you so very much.
Alright, we're gonna bring up Mr. Gary Hicks next, so we can discuss in depth, because he was about to jump out of the seat there. No, Michelle.
Yeah.
Because she ran off, calls my feet. Look, watch this. Look, this is all I have to say is this. Watch this. Let me show you how long this plan will be. Ditto, I can go sit down. Seriously. Everything that she's mentioned, all right, is the absolute truth. I've been working with this lady for a long time, and a lot of the things that she brought up is right here. This is what we call a memorial guide, okay? This is a fact-filled information book that everybody that can hear me right now need to fill out, okay? All of the information that your loved ones is gonna need at a time of a death, you can put it here now. A lot of people don't understand. People try to avoid this conversation. But if you're here today, you got the information, but don't hold it. You need to share the information, all right, with your loved ones and your family. Seriously. It's time that we talk about this. It's time we talk about it. I've been doing this since 1986 and have done it all over the country. I have trained people, I have studied burial customs in different countries. I have trained people in different countries on cemetery and funeral home, okay? Now, I am a certified cemetery, okay? Meaning I went to ACA University, okay, to get my credentials and stuff of that nature. I'm one of the guys that looked at the industry and said, oh, wait a minute. Some people can't afford to go into a cemetery and put down the necessary monies they need to buy the cemetery property and goods and services. Same way with the funeral home. And the funeral home, I really copied it behind the funeral homes because you can go into a funeral home, like you can call Michelle up, go sit down and talk to her, pick out your funeral home. And then she can put a policy in place to cover that. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I'm selling cemetery property, every cemetery that you can name in this area, Fort Lincoln Cemetery, Cedar Hill Cemetery, Beavis Memorial Park at Baltimore, King Memorial Park, I ran every one of those cemeteries. Okay, and there was a lot of people that wanted to take care of their cemetery goods and service, but they didn't have the necessary money, as I just said earlier. So I said, wait a minute, there's got to be a way that I can tie this to an insurance company, all right? And that's what I did. I said, let me go get my insurance license. So I'm also a licensed insurance broker, okay? Not only just in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, but California, Michigan, and everything from New Jersey to Georgia. All right, now look, I'm the guy they get the call from most of the churches in the area. And Michelle will tell you, she's telling nothing but the truth. Things have changed in this industry, guys. One time, when a death occurred, they didn't even pronounce you dead until you got to the hospital, even though they knew it. But now, they can come in and pronounce you dead, like she said, on the dining room floor, bathroom floor, whatever the case may be. And when they go in and they determine there wasn't no foul play, I get that phone call. And she's absolutely right. They call me Brother Hicks. And I done dealt with two of them just this year. You know, whereas when the police said they turn the body back over to the family. What do you do in a situation like that? I guarantee you that person that you bought that insurance from off of TV ain't gonna be there to help you. I guarantee you ain't gonna be able to catch up with. All right, and tell them that your loved one is laying on the floor. All right, you need to have somebody that, like a Wiseman's film home that you can pick up. When they call me, my next call is, hey, Michelle, all right, hold on 1 minute. And normally they get there with them an hour or so, you know, to bring your loved one into their care. Now, situations have happened where people couldn't get to me. She's completely right again. I don't know what's going on out here. One of the sisters in our church, her husband died. All right. And the police came, they gave her a business card. I'm not gonna call the name. They gave her a business card. By the time she got finished paying for every move, she ended up spending somewhere there with about $3,500. Now, there's another good point that she brought up. Let's look at this cremation situation. When I first started this back in 1986, you could get cremated for $200. And I'm gonna tell you something. In the Black culture, cremation was unheard of. I'm serious. I have had pastors, I have heard them say out of their mouth that they wouldn't even perform a service or preach a funeral service that was for cremation. But all of that has changed now. I had my bishop to call me one night when he was in school. He has a degree in theology. He said, Hicks, a conversation came up in our class. I need your help. I said, what's going on, Bishop? He said, why is it so many people being cremated? Is it because they can't afford it to have a traditional ground burial or earth burial? Or what? What's going on with that? And I simply tell them the truth. The truth is because people have procrastinated and taken care of it. They waited and they waited and they continue to wait and they passing it on. Instead of just going here, like Ms. Wiseman said earlier, and locking it in. But I got some news for you. Cremation, believe it or not, is sitting there somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 56 to 57% of the deaths that occur in the United States, they're being cremated. And let me tell you why. It's because we procrastinated and we didn't take care of it. We didn't lock it in. And a lot of people, see, I ask that hard question that people don't want to hear. Do you have everything taken care of? I can walk into a room of 100 people and say, do you have everything taken care of at the death occurred in your family? If you die, you follow me? No one listening to what Tim said. The same thing in this room right now. No, just look at me, just look straight forward. You don't have to look around. But guess what? You know I'm telling the truth. If you died right now, somebody's gonna be in a dilemma or have to come up with some money, raise some money. You know what the people telling me now? Oh, don't worry about it. I ain't gotta remember that. I'm gonna be cremated. It was a statement that Michelle made earlier. Okay, tell me when you're gonna die. And if you want to tell me, look at me and tell me you want to be cremated, I'm gonna say, okay, you're gonna die in a year or two. And especially when I hear from the young folk, I'm gonna be cremated. I want to be cremated. Watch this. Cremation, the cost of cremation, and especially cremation with a service,
Wow.
it increases every it increased 3.48% every year. So you look at a 40-year or 50-year-old person that's gonna live another 20 to 30 years, cremation, I have a chart. Cremation gonna cost them somewhere in the neighborhood of $29,000 to $32,000. And they think, they're getting smart with me. They think, you know, you can't get around this. You just can't get around it. So, but look, like I said, this book right here, every one of y'all need one. You need it. You need to have it filled out. Lady just told you what's gonna happen. But if she just told you the funeral side, I'm a cemeterian, I can tell you what's gonna happen on the cemetery side. If you planning right now to go a traditional burial, in the DMV, the average burial space is gonna be somewhere in the neighborhood of almost close to $6,000. Now, go to, wait a minute, hold on, I said the average. Let's go to Fort Lincoln Cemetery where you gotta pay $12,000 to $15,000 just for the dirt. Nothing else. Nothing else. And I can remember when you could get two burial spaces side by side for $395, and people used to say I'm doing my face, telling me that they was paying too much money. $395 for two spaces side by side, and they just tell me to go get a real job. That I wasn't never the boss. I'm just waiting on people to die. You know, wait, don't talk to me about this. But no, wait a minute, wait, guess what? They still living. Guess who get the calls now? Tell them, Pastor. Right now. Oh, Brother Hicks, do you still do that thing? Yeah. They ain't no $395.
I can my card right now.
I'm telling you right now, ain't no $395. But see, that's what happens. And like Ms. Wiseman said, don't charge me for keep using your name. But watch this stuff. Got money for everything else. Mad with us, mad with me, mad with her when they got to pay what they have to pay because somebody died. And then guess what? And then when I refer people, my clients to her, you know, come on, Michelle, you gotta give my clients a break. You know, and she does. But then when she gives them a break, here's what happens.
She said, all right. It's being recorded, don't tell me.
Here's what happens on the break. No, seriously, that was a joke. Here's what happens on the break. She gave them the break and then they asked for an extra funeral cover. And everybody got something brand new on. I mean, seriously, I'm not joking. Money comes from everywhere there. You understand what I'm saying? So look. Somebody said something earlier, and I said, when she hit this one, I definitely want to jump in my seat. Someone said about a love letter. If you get the book, take the time and fill it out. Make a copy of it, make sure that that important person that would have to handle your arrangements know where it is. And then they're gonna pick this book up one day and it's gonna say right here, this will help you successfully handle the various tasks thrust upon you by my death. I sincerely appreciate it and I love it before myself. You follow me? And most people, when they fill it out, they sign it, and date it. You know why? Like she said earlier, sometimes people don't be on the same page. We had an incident at her funeral home. I don't know if you remember this or not, but it wasn't too long ago, where I sold one of the sisters in the church. I sold her aunt a policy for $6,000 because she wanted to be cremated. She filled out the necessary paperwork, said she wanted cremation and everything. But the aunt had a sister. You remember that? The aunt had a sister. And the sister says, tell her niece, I'm not gonna burn my sister. I'm taking my sister back to North Carolina, where mom and dad is, and her other sister is, and I'm gonna be buried there too. But the 6,000 helped her to accomplish that. Because it was just a few more dollars before everything, could take place. But they went on and made that transition. So what I'm saying to you is this, please, let somebody know. If you want to be cremated, please let them know. Please put it in order. Put it in place now. Okay? But like I said, this information, you can't keep it to yourself. And there's gonna be some people that don't want to talk about it. And all they're doing is telling you is this. When I die, you're gonna pay for it. It's just that simple, guys. It's just that simple. So fill out one of these. It should be, everybody should have one of these. All right, fill this out. I'm gonna make sure you get one of these booklets. All right. Now, if you have any other questions or anything, you can jot it down on the back. I'll reach out to you to answer any personal questions that you may have, because this is not a one size fit all for people. And then lastly, to wrap it up, my time again. Okay, one more thing. When you get this book, look what's on the back. It's a two-fold book. 9 things everyone needs to know about a film. Like she said, there's a whole lot of film fraud going on. A lot of it. A lot of it. And people are being taken advantage of. Just think about it. When you're planning for a funeral, especially at need, meaning someone has died, that's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of money involved in it. And you going in blind? You going in wide open? That don't make sense to me. Everybody in here should grab one of her cards and put that card in your Rolodex and share that card with your family members. Because I'm telling you, that's somebody you can trust. You already know. But here's what happens, guys. Here's what happens. Aunt Bessie died last year. Then who did we use? I'm serious. Not even knowing the person, not knowing the funeral home. But who did we use? Give me 30 more seconds. I'm gonna tell you a true story that happened right in Delaware. That's one of my territories. I'm up there and I'm sitting there talking to this lady. I'm going over the estimated costs for funerals. Okay, she requested the information and I'm going over everything with her. And when I got down and showed her the estimated costs in Delaware for a funeral was somewhere in the neighborhood, I think, what was it, about 7,000, 68 to 7,000 for a basic, for a good, what we call a good funeral, okay, in Delaware, right? Low grade casket, stuff of that nature, that we need for the services. And when I got there, the lady said, wait a minute, hold on, Mr. Hicks, you said 7,000? I said, yes, ma'am. The lady got up. This is true, guys. Listen, she got up from the table. And I'm okay, I said, she said, no, that's gotta be wrong information right there. I said, no, these are not my numbers, this is on the national average, this is what it would cost in Delaware. She said, it can't be. Here's what happened. She lost her brother. That's why she called in for the information. She lost her brother, she wanted to make arrangements for herself in advance. The funeral director is a church member. Went to church with her. And she saw that, and she said, wait a minute, hold up. I just buried my brother, and it cost me $13,000. I said, she said, then wait a minute, so something ain't right. I can't use the words that that lady used when she was getting them from that table. She went over to the phone. She said, hold on, Mr. Hicks, for a minute, because something ain't right. She went over to the phone and she used these words again, and she used them real loud. And she said, I'm gonna let everybody in the church, I'm gonna let Bishop know, and you're gonna give me my money back. Seriously, see, you guys, you gotta look at this thing. You got to know who you're doing business with. Come on, it's common sense. That's all I'm saying. And yes, I have a passion for it, I'm sorry. But I'm trying to get through to you guys. Not you personally, but I'm trying to get you to explain it to your other family members, because I'm gonna tell you something right now. I have seen so many marriages and family fights when it comes to making arrangements. You have to put them in different rooms. We used our vacation money to bury your mother. Now we gotta bury your father. No, that ain't gonna happen. And it comes out. And then you got that uncle that hit that scotch before he got there, ain't got a dime, but he gonna tell everybody how to run the thing, what they need to buy. And then you got this wife that took care of her husband through sickness and everything else. No family members on his side came by to help her to do nothing. But they there at the funeral home trying to tell this woman how to spend the insurance money. And how much is gonna be left so they can get a piece of it. That's what happens when you don't pre-plan. I can't make this up, guys, this is real. So it's in your best interest to get in contact with one of us. And so far as the insurance, hey, we got you. You don't need a lot of it. You just need some of it. All right? But you gotta have it. And then, please, all those people in your family that's gonna tell you, oh, I can't do it because I got insurance on my job. No, you don't. You don't have insurance on your job. The job got insurance on you. Meaning, you got a certificate. That's a group policy. You have a certificate as long as you're working for them. You got coverage. But here's another thing. Michelle, please tell them one day how long it takes to get money from those type of policies. Forever in a day. And you're not just dealing with the beneficiary, you're dealing with the human resource department. And for all you government workers that got these family policies, I'm gonna tell you something there. It takes, they tell us right there, it takes us anyway some 6 to 8 weeks, like you said, to file a claim and get the money, if we get it. And then, oh, by the way, when you have a traditional life insurance policy, it depends on how you die before you get that money. That's right, you don't know how you're gonna die. Please don't die in an automobile accident, they will lick on you, bro. No, seriously. Please don't let it be a homicide, because it gotta be an investigation. You know how long it took for them to get the money from the estate of Michael Jackson, from Mr. Show's concert? 9 years. Remember? They considered it being a homicide, remember? It was a trial and everything. Watch this, I'm gonna bring one home and then I'm gonna close this up. I know I'm past 20 minutes and I do it all the time. I'm gonna close it up with this one right here. This one, vet me. Because I know everybody in here, yeah, everybody here know Whitney Houston. Y'all knew her, right? They had millions of dollars worth of insurance on her. Clyde Davis had 5 million on by itself. Insurance money didn't burn her. The family was wealthy enough to step up and do what they needed to do. Now, why is that? Remember how she died? No one knew. No one knew how she died until 10 and a half weeks later. They didn't know if it was a homicide, suicide, or accidental. Well, after 10 and a half weeks, they determined that it was accidental and the people got paid double. But that happens every day to people. I have worked with families like that, where they had insurance, but they died of strain, 25 years old, died of a large heart. They didn't know if it was suicide, because of drugs or whatever. Family had to come out their pocket with the monies to bury these people, okay? So if you have any questions, if you want to, you can jot my number down. I'll give you a call. I have additional information for people that want to do wills and stuff of that nature from the will register. She's a partner of mine. She's the will registrar of Prince George County. All right, Sarita Lee. She was on a radio show. And by the way, in closing, I do have a radio show every Saturday morning, 1340 WYCB. All right, tune in at 8:30 on Saturday mornings. This is the type of information we just left the radio station to give you. As a matter of fact, we're gonna be blessed next week with Miss Wiseman on our show. Okay, and I definitely need you on my show. Seriously, no, I'm not. I'm shy. No, you're not. Okay, they can't see you. They can't see you. But no, seriously, and then have your family to tune in. All right. Any questions? I'm getting good at this. No questions?
You're very thorough.
Good.
Get a breakdown from Lakeside.
Good morning, everyone. Looks, you are so on point with that. God rest my mother-in-law. She had a policy with Lincoln Financial, and if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have been able to, like, I'm all choked out. Bury her because she was on very limited income, and she was able to get a policy that fit in her budget, and when she passed, it covered almost everything for her funeral. I mean, we didn't do anything elaborate or anything, but we were able to give her, the service and respect that she deserved. So thank you for Lincoln for that, because you guys, you are so true, both of you guys. Thank you. Thank you. All right, well, on to another topic. I am Jennifer Jones with Lakeside Title Company. I am the last stop on the real estate train. You are buying a house with these beautiful ladies. I'm the one that you sit down with and sign your loan documents and become a homeowner. Not just that simple. You just don't, pick a house and Tim qualifies you and then you sit at my table. There's a reason for me. I'm the one that puts everything together, and again, you can sit down and sign your loan document or become a homeowner. The point of my role is to protect your property rights as a homeowner. Does anyone know what title insurance is other than my real estate friends? Does anyone know what owner's title insurance is or lender's title insurance other than my insurance people or real estate people? Okay, so you have car insurance for your automobiles, you have homeowner's insurance for, for your actual home, for anything catastrophic that may happen. Then you have health insurance, you have all these insurances. Well, how do you know if you own your home? 100% own your home. I provide owners and lenders title insurance. And what that does is it protects your investment and your lender's investment in the property. When you are shopping for a home, your lender requires that you purchase a lender's title insurance policy, which your lender's title insurance policy protects your lender. Meaning, if there is a document that's not filed correctly at the county land records, or there is an error that wasn't properly notified from a previous, couple of owners ago, the lender is protected underneath the lender's title insurance policy. That's a requirement of your loan. Your owner's title insurance policy is an optional item, but it is something that is factored into your cost, and it protects your home ownership, your ownership. It never has to be renewed, repaid, and it ensures that you own your home from now until eternity. Anybody know the title insurance? Like I'm kind of.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it?
I don't know.
I mean, you guys heard of, infomercial? I'm not gonna say the name, but late at night? Okay. You don't need, if you have title insurance, you don't need to worry about that service. I called that service and asked them, what was the purpose of it? Because they were talking about, this crime that happens, that people do take your home ownership, and they do. One of my coworkers, I'm gonna do a quick little story, and then I'm gonna get back to the infomercial. One of my coworkers during COVID had a high school friend reach out to her and said, hey, I want to take advantage of the interest rates. Because during COVID, it was pretty, interest rate for, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, pretty low. And he went to a loan officer, the loan officer pre-qualified him, so they sent the transaction to us because he wanted to take out a mortgage. He bought the property for cash 15 years before that. $250,000 is what he paid, $250,000. Okay, let's put that into perspective. So we researched the house at the county land records, which we're required to do. We're only required to research it for 60 years, and 60 years in history is really not that long, but that's what we're required to do. And so research the house for the last 60 years. So we researched it. Well, the title work came back from our abstractor. And lo and behold, our customer didn't own his house. Wow. He did not own his house. How did that happen? How did it happen? So apparently someone took his ownership, and you can go online. I mean, you can pull up the public land records right now if you really wanted to. He pulled up whomever pulled up the public land records, created a deed. Maybe they were besties with a notary, or maybe they just, created the stamp, or just did all of that. Just faked it all, obviously. Or maybe they paid somebody some money. I don't know how it all transposed, but I just know that the documents that were recorded legally transferred this gentleman's ownership out of him, and he does not own it anymore. He has now since had to pay $9,000 to this attorney to defend his ownership. He was never able to refinance, and it's now 3 years later, and he's still not able to refinance because they're trying to, work through the situation. If he would have bought owner's title insurance 15 years ago, he wouldn't have had to worry about that. The attorneys would have protected him. They would have fought, they would have gone to court, they would have done everything necessary. And he probably would have known before he sat down with my coworker and wanted to refinance. Moral of the story is, yes, it is an optional item, but this is your home. This is your castle. This is where you lay your head. This is where family memories are. This is where, this is where you don't want anybody to take it away because they didn't have the proper documentation, or the documents were not filed correctly at the county land records. Does anyone remember about 25 years ago, Prince George's County land records burned down? Does anybody remember that? I do, because I was started into the business. I didn't know what any of that meant, but now I do. Documents were lost, like documents that were getting ready to be recorded, deeds that were getting ready to be recorded, mortgages, or, say a mortgage was paid off. All title insurance, if any of that would have happened in your transaction, documents were burned down, you were protected. There was a lot of extra work with the land records, but they mulled through. Title insurance just protects you, and that's what my role when you go to purchase a home is I sit down with you, you sign your loan documents, and I protect your property rights. There's a lot of information that comes along with buying a home, and it's my sincere personal advice would be to make sure that you have someone who's local, who knows the area. These ladies know this area very, very well. I've worked with them for how long now? Like, yeah, I was gonna say it's almost close to a decade. And they are very, very passionate, very passionate. They get the work done. They're just sincerely appreciate working with them. So thank you. Make sure you use someone local for your realtor and your mortgage company, not the 1-800 people. Because no matter what, the 1-800 agents. That was a great one.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm so using that one.
They learn hard.
No, and they do, even with the license or the funeral services, the title insurance, the homeowner's insurance, health insurance. It's my job to protect you. I cannot protect you if you don't purchase an owner's title insurance policy. Your lender requires that you protect their investment in the property. They require for you, you're gonna borrow $200,000, $400,000. They require that you buy a lender's title insurance. Owner's title insurance, it's optional, but it's already included in your cost. Like this isn't gonna be a surprise because everybody hears the nightmares of closing. Oh, I had to bring an extra 5,000 or I didn't know. No, I will say 1,000%. I've worked with the gentleman in the back corner for my entire career. I mean, it's over 2 decades now, and he quotes it and will give you the enhanced policy. And there's 2 different policies for owner's title insurance. There's a basic title insurance policy and an enhanced title insurance policy. The basic title insurance policy, both of them cover you and your ownership. The biggest difference between the 2 is the enhanced title insurance will go up as your values of your property goes up and at no cost to you. So if something were to happen in 10, 15 years, your value, and you bought your house for 200,000, say it's worth, 300,000 in 15 years. The value of your property goes up as your policy goes up as your value goes up. Anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Question, bought your house 30 years ago, can't remember. Even though it was a builder, was title insurance part of it? Was it offered back then?
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
So how do you find out if you have it?
So do you have any of your paperwork from back then? Like I can look at you.
I know what my closing documents is.
You do?
I don't know. I don't know.
It'll be on your settlement statement.
It'll be in there.
Well, do you know where your documents are?
I think so.
If you don't, we can check our databases and see, because Lakeside, and I completely neglected to announce this, I'm sorry. We are 100% women in, by the way. We're very proud to be from Lakeside. I've been with them. I was talking to my manager earlier this week, almost 10 years. And we are licensed in Maryland, DC, Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. So if you guys have a property, I can definitely help you with that. But back to your closing documents. If you remember where they are, or I can just look in my database and see if there's anything with the underwriters. We have 4 different underwriters that we can check. We'll just have to go over the I'm sure you did. I hope you did.
I can't remember. It's 30 years ago.
Probably did. It was definitely a cost even back then. Title insurance, one of the many reasons why we have lenders and owners title insurance is because, this is your history lesson, Honest Abe's parents lost 2 different properties in 2 different states because they did not have the proper documentation. Somebody came and took their houses because they didn't have the proper documentation. It's a true history, so.
So people that don't have it, can they contact your company and you give them, a policy for title insurance, would you have to do a title search and then go back? Okay.
Yep, you can, so if you don't have, owner's title insurance, that is something that you can purchase, after, but it is going to cost you it's not something that I've regularly done, but it is something that we can do. You're gonna have to do a title search to make sure that, you own the property and everything is where it's supposed to be. And then you also have to pay the, premium, on the title insurance, and it's based off of what your value of your home is.
But it's better than going to the company, the 800
Oh my
company.
goodness, yes, ma'am, it is 1,000% better. I mean, yes, the 800 company will charge you a fee each month, and then they will alert you, and that's all they will do. They won't do anything else. So they'll alert you and say, hey, somebody may have taken your home, and that's it. They don't give you the attorneys, they don't fight for you, they don't do anything. Title insurance does that. The 1-800 agent does not do that. They don't fight for your home ownership rights. You guys work so hard for this. I know I have. We're still in our first house. I mean, it's gonna be our only house, but you work hard. That's, that's what you have to pass on. Cause, life's crazy. Does anyone have any other questions?
Is that a one-time fee or you pay annually?
Great question, thank you. It's a one-time fee, never has to be renewed, repaid ever. And it's paid at the time that you go to closing, and it's included in your closing costs.
I need to go look at my documents.
My card is over here. If you guys have any questions or need anything, even if you just want me to pull a copy of your deed, I can do that. Do not pay anybody for a copy of your deed. Really, guys. I just had a buyer, one of our buyers, from about 2 months ago, sent me a text message with 3 different attachments. And was like, Jen, is this real? Is this, I mean, very frantic, very, very frantic. And the document says the local land records. That's the name of the company. It's not the actual land records. And I mean, it's just, but they were asking for $125, $115 for a copy of the deed. Y'all want to pay somebody? I mean, coffee's my favorite drink. Even Dunkin' or Starbucks gift cards. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you, Ms. J.
Last but not least, we have Mr. Tim Murphy here from Impact Mortgage. Mr. Murphy has over 35 years experience in this field. He helps me on so many different projects, whether it's first-time home buyers, whether it's second home buyers, vacation homes, investment properties. He then runs the gamut. So he is here to present information about a little bit of it. But he's just a wealth of information. It's super cool to hang around him.
Y'all don't get a real estate high. I don't know I'm sorry.
He's it. But, so I'm gonna bring the podium up for you.
That's great, yeah.
More comfortable, cause he does weird things on the weekends and hurts himself.
Yeah,
He shows up places.
someone called me an old goat, and I was like, what does that mean? And I was like, and then they don't realize that I actually live on a farm, and so it's kind of wild. I was out this morning playing with my goats, but last year they broke my wrist in 5 places. It was kind of fun. A month ago they snapped my back. So I'm thinking about the goats. I might be shifting away from those. We're gonna have fun today. And I actually brought my computer only because typically I have a hand up, and I apologize. I'm gonna tell you a crazy story. My mom, bless her heart, she's 91, and we probably only have a couple days left. So keep her in prayers. Been running around like crazy, and just like everybody's talking about, making the final funeral arrangements, getting everything together, making sure all the family members come and visit. So it's kind of wild at the end, and so I'm the designated executor of the estate, so I've just kind of been playing. And I looked at my calendar this morning, and I called Lisa. I said, Lisa, it's 9:45. I said, I'm supposed to be doing something today. She said, yes. I said, okay. So we shifted around. So she was really cool, and she really helped me out. So I apologize for not having a handout for you. One of the things I'm very good at, though, is I'm going to show you a lot. I think I have like 20 minutes, Lisa. Very good. Okay. So we're going to talk about the marketplace, and I want to give you guys some strategies and ideas that are winning. First, let's talk a little bit about interest rates. Where are they going? Back up. Okay, it's kind of crazy. The Federal Reserve, unfortunately, they look at inflation and they look at all the numbers. They look at jobs and history and creation, and they're trying to prevent things from getting out of hand. And unfortunately, the price of gasoline, groceries, you name it, affordability is a question out there. And we thought they'd cut the rates a couple times this year. Now they're telling us probably not, probably next year. Okay, so things have definitely changed in the marketplace. And I always tell people, you know, we have to look at where we are, right? I've done this since 1984, so I'm a little older than some of you, most of you probably, or close to it. I turned 63 when I told somebody, that means I'm 3 blackjacks, 21, 21, 24. So I feel lucky this year, to be honest with you, okay? But I remember in 1984, I bought my first house, my interest rate was 18%. So I don't mind 6.5 or 7. But the question really comes down to, honestly, is affordability. And we talk about houses and what's going on in the marketplace, right? And everybody thinks that houses are going to go down in value. No, they're not. I will tell you, we expect this area to continue to increase in value 5 to 7% per year for the next 10 years. And simple, people have interest rates of 3%. They're probably not going to sell, right? They're building new homes, but have you noticed a townhouse at $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 in a townhouse? Which honestly, back in my day, sold for $50,000 or $60,000, right? So everybody's asking about affordability, and one of the biggest areas of affordability really is twofold. It's number one, where are we going to live as seniors? And I can say that because I'm 63, right? But my wife and I are now planning. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do. We're going to stay in place. My parents did. They're still living in a house they built in 61. Well, my mom is, that is, right? And they've actually had in-house care, which is kind of wild. So they planned ahead. And the way they planned ahead was they said, we're going to pay off our mortgage down, we're going to put some resources together. But this is kind of crazy, right? There's over 80 million seniors by the year 2030 that will not be able to afford their home. That will not be able to afford their housing. That are not going to be able to afford a lot, right? Unless they plan ahead. So I want you to think about a concept totally out of the range we don't think about, which reverse mortgages, a little different. Because a reverse mortgage is like a traditional mortgage in that we take out a loan and we make payments, right? In a reverse mortgage, we reverse it. In other words, we allow the mortgage company to take payments out of the equity. You get to live in the house for free. Kind of a weird concept. I plant that seed because if the value is going to keep coming up and you have this reverse mortgage going down, it's actually a win-win from that perspective. Because now we can use some of the equity and supplement the payment. And it might be the answer to some of the affordability questions. Now, the world has changed. Remember the old Rockford Files or the guy that was in Hawaii? What was his name? The detective. Yeah, you still see them promoting it, right? I'm sure he's still around anymore, but you see what's going on, right? Back 30, 40 years ago, it was an unregulated product. Today it's regulated. I like that word. It's HUD approved. I like that word even more importantly, because they're regulating what can and cannot be done. So I wanted to kind of give you just some ideas and strategies. I look at it as reverse mortgages as ready to the last step, right? Because honestly, I'd rather you had your house sprinkled. I'd rather you not use a mortgage at all, because I hate to say this, but I believe the debt is kind of the work of the devil, right? Think about credit cards, right? I mean, they give you these credit cards and what happens? $10,000, $15,000 and you're just thinking, this is great, I'm gonna go on that cruise, I'm gonna go play, somebody needs some additional, clothes, whatever the case may be, right? And all of a sudden you owe $14,000. Average interest rate on credit cards today is 27%. So if you look at your Lowe's card or your Home Depot card or your Nordstrom card, they're 30. So we begin to think about, okay, is this a good use of my money? Well, it is, and that's what I always tell people, if, ready? You're using it to be able to live forward, ready, and not stress. That's what I look at it from that perspective. And I think about reverse mortgages in that reverse mortgages really have 3 different benefits. And I thought I'd give them to you. Ready? Number one, in a reverse mortgage, first you gotta be 62. So you've gotta be at that age. You gotta have an equity in house. And this is the cool part. You can buy a house with a reverse mortgage, but you gotta have a sizable amount down, okay? It's based on your age, probably. It's pretty easy. So you can buy or refinance, doesn't matter, number one, okay? Number two, more importantly, in a reverse mortgage, you can set it up so that never have a payment for the rest of your life. That's the cool part. And what I mean by that is, you're never gonna have a principal and interest. You still are gonna have your real estate taxes. You're still gonna have your insurance. You're still gonna have the maintenance of the property. But if you live in that house for already 51% of the year, it's about 186 days, then in essence, ready for this one? You never have to leave, you never have to make a payment. So you have a term policy, which is cool. You got a 10-year policy, which is kind of wild too, where they'll actually not only pay off the mortgage, but they'll make payments back to you. So if you have challenges, also they'll actually can set you up with a line of credit. And you can do a combination of all three. So it's kind of a cool way of thinking about things. And so I like to look at it from the standpoint of, okay, what are the pros and cons? First, you don't have to qualify, which is kind of wild. We are not, this is kind of crazy, looking at your income. So Joe Baker called me literally a week ago. I pulled Joe's stuff. He lives in a little house down in St. Mary's County. He owes about $60,000 and he had to retire. Joe's kind of fun, he's 71. And he said, Tim, I gotta retire, and I just realized my social security is $1,800 a month. His mortgage payment on his house, because he still owes about 60 grand, is $900. He says, I don't think I can afford a home. I said, where are you gonna go? He said, well, that's why I'm calling you. He said, is a reverse something that might be affordable? I said, yes, let me get some details. Left of his house, has got the value to do it, the equity, right? We don't care about your credit. Don't care about scores. I do look at judgments and liens, right? Because you can't file a loan with, and Jennifer will tell you this, with a tax lien or a judgment or a garnishment. Other than that, gone. So Joe's going to do the reverse mortgage. He's not gonna have a payment. He's taking $40,000 out to enhance the house so that he can make it more affordable for long term, which makes sense. He's planning ahead. He says, I have nowhere to go because he doesn't have any children. So Joe's in it. So Joe's planning ahead now to stay in the home. Joe also says, who am I going to turn the house over to when I'm done? So his value is going up. He paid $100,000 for the house about 10 years ago, worth about 200 today, which is kind of crazy, right? And so we're looking at that perspective, and then Joe's makes sense. So to qualify, really cool. We look at your income, we look at your assets, we don't look at your credit, other than judgments, tax liens. They look at bankruptcies if the house is in bankruptcy. So pro, that's a pretty good plan, right? Okay, another pro, you ready? Change it at any time. You can get the reverse mortgage today, take out additional funds because you want to fix the house up so you can sell it. Because you couldn't qualify for a mortgage. And maybe not only are you going to do that, but you're going to take additional funds out and maybe buy your burial arrangements now. Get your insurance with Lincoln in place, right? Position yourself for the future. Then you can sell the house, it doesn't matter. But it is a nice avenue. The other cool part about reverse mortgages is the cost. There's very little cost up front. The cost, honestly, is the appraisal, okay? And if you're buying the house, your inspections and an EMD, which you can all get back, okay? Up front. So if you're looking at cost-wise, what are the cons? The cons are you are eating your equity. Think about it. We are paying it out, paying the future with the equity in place. Another con that I always tell people is, and you're gonna laugh, but you're gonna find that your children or your children's children don't want you to do this.
Right.
Right? Because they're thinking, hey, you're giving away my money, my inheritance. I didn't see them working to pay that house off in the beginning, right? I'm serious. So I always tell people there are pros and cons. It is just a tool in the tool belt for what you might want to do. Okay, so reverses have a lot of positive. Now here's the cool part. Okay, you're 62, you buy a house, you've got a young lady with you, maybe she's 58, we do the reverse mortgage. Only the 62-year-old can do the reverse. Okay, what's going to happen 20 years from now? You're 82, you pass away. Okay, and thank goodness we have everything arranged ahead of time. Okay, so everything's in place. You did this reverse mortgage, you never made a payment for 20 years. Here's the cool part. You ready? The non-borrowing spouse is entitled to stay in the house forever. So they changed the rules. That's what I like about it. I mean, I will be honest with you. If you asked me 20 years ago, I didn't care for the product.
Right. That's
Okay.
good.
I changed my mind because I see 80 million people that won't be able to afford the phone in basically 6 years. So the non-borrowing spouse, which is really cool, okay, is in a place of, hey, you know what? Now they're okay. really good. Next stage, you ready? Well, what happens when everybody passes? What happens, right? Are they just gonna take the house? No, we have 6 months to do 3 things. We refinance, maybe with the children, okay? They wanna keep the house because it's family estate. We have time to sell the house. And maybe we sell it and we walk away with $100,000, whatever the equity is, because I'm going down, right? Okay, or step number 3 is you can turn the house back to the bank.
Sell it.
Okay, I like the sell part. In fact, I believe you can sell the house and even take a little bit of a crunch on the sale price and still make some money. Now, here's the cool part about reverses. They're non-recourse. Anybody know what that means? So non-recourse means this. If I take the loan out in my name and the house is in my name, right? And I do this reverse mortgage and I live in the house, knowing my family, I'll be there till I'm in my 90s, right? And lo and behold, I pass away and I owe $500,000 because I kept making payments on my behalf and the house is only worth $4.
Don't matter.
That's exactly right. Non-recourse says they can only take the house. They can't go after the estates. They can't go after your IRAs. They can't go after the insurance proceeds. They can't go after anything. So another cool benefit to reverses. Now, here's the cool thing about reverses. I don't care if I do them, if somebody else does them, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, here's the best part. Before you can get a reverse, you have to go through counseling, not by the lender. Look, I'm a sales guy, right? I mean, honestly, I've done this for 40 years. I love what I do. But realistically, they're going to make you step out and they're going to say, we've got to go to a counselor first. And we're going to want to invite the children or a relative to sit down with them. Because sometimes it's hard to understand everything when we're a little older. Or sometimes people talk too fast. Or sometimes we don't ask all the right questions, right? So you're going to invite a partner to come in, a child, okay, a relative, to be part of this counseling service, because honestly, I don't want to do a loan if it's not going to be beneficial to you. It doesn't make sense. But it's got to make sense from the standpoint of it serves either A, it's allowing you to stay in the house, it's allowing you to eat, it's allowing you to pay for your expenses, for your medications, which seem to be going up and up, right? And at the same time, it gives you a little bit of sanity, okay? So the counseling part is huge. Okay, and don't anybody try to tell you otherwise. It's not. It is extremely important. But it's just one avenue to look at it. Now, here's the catch. What happens when we have to go into an assisted living facility and you don't have a lot of assets? What does Medicare, Medicaid do?
Take your house.
Exactly right. So Medicare and Medicaid are going to take the house anyway when we're in our 80s, whatever the magic age is. Why not do a reverse mortgage and allow us to use it first? That's my point. So a lot of people, I love houses, I love real estate, I'm on a crazy farm, right? Okay, and that's my point though. It's sometimes we have a treasure that is stored here and we don't take full use or access to it. And so with the reverse, it's only one tool in the tool belt, right? So we need to look at all of our avenues. And as far as conveying the property down the road to our heirs or to our estate, it's not an issue, because you're going to look to see what you owe, you're going to look to see the value of the property, and then we need to balance it out and say, okay, does this make sense to do this process? So that's reverse mortgages. And I like to bring it up because like I said, I wasn't a big fan years ago, and I have been in the last 12 months because I've seen the change. I get the calls from Joe that tell me, hey, can't afford where I live anymore. Okay, or I get the call from the wife where the husband's had a stroke and they have to afford their home. Okay, and or I get the calls where Uncle Joe, this is a real cool thing. I'm just using general names, so I don't want specific names, but Uncle Joe in Essence, ready? He's living in his house. He has so many children, but his niece-in-law, that is, right? They need a place to live, and they're willing to take care of Uncle Joe. And what they did was they went ahead and did the reverse mortgage, so he never has a mortgage payment. Right? They took out $60,000 to enhance the house, and they built it in an in-law apartment. And now the kids are going to take care of Uncle Joe for the rest of his life. And in return, Uncle Joe wants to will the house to the kids. It solves a lot of issues. So I want you guys to think about that today. Reverse mortgages, are they an avenue? Okay, are they one piece of the pie? Yes. Do you need to ask the questions? Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, you've got to think it through thoroughly. What makes financial sense? That's all. It's a balance. It really is. And is there a time and place? Yeah, just like Job, we never know when things are going to happen. And like I said, I never knew the goat was going to get me, but the goat got me, and it is what it is. Although I'm still winning, they're still with me. So my landscapers, if you will. Although my wife just told me this morning, she says, I got 80 turkeys and 200 chickens coming. And so the babies, yeah, they're like little things. So it takes about 6 weeks before they are let out in the field and we go all crazy. But my point of the matter is, you gotta have fun, you gotta enjoy life. And it's just an idea, it really is. So any questions about reverse mortgages? I just want to give you guys some thought process. I threw a couple cards back there. If you have questions, the V, Lisa, everybody just, I'll tell you, I'm always available for a call. I'm in Walworth, where I'm located, licensed in 10 states, because I have clients that move here and move to the Carolinas or Florida or Tennessee or West Virginia from that standpoint. But if you have questions or just want to talk or just want to come in and play, do a Zoom call out. Like I said, I've done this for 40 years. And so I do have a lot of fun in what I do. But I can tell you from start to finish. Questions? Well, that's all I got, guys. You guys, this has been great. I only wish I got here sooner. I apologize for getting here a little late. Thank you again, Miss Lisa. Thank you, everyone.
So Gary Hicks is offering, if you fill out the sheet paper, you have $3.32 a day, registering on this form. So the young lady is talking about right now. Just to let you guys know, this came from the intersection of, Justine and I have always had conversations and people come to us and they ask us the question, what do we do? Because this happened, what do we do? So it's our privilege and honor to associate ourselves with people in the community that offer the services that we do not. And it comes to being able to speak, Ms. Michelle saying, Jennifer, Tim, Mr. Hicks, and saying to a client, this person is the one you want to call because we have trust in that person, we have a relationship with them. So it's a nice handoff when you need something. And this is what Justine and I and the team does. Make sure that we align ourselves with people that service the people in the community. So we will come back with this again. and in the future, we want to push it as much as possible. As many people in the room have such information as needed. We do real estate, we help people buy and sell houses, we help with investment properties, and we do have a wide reach because of who we're associated with across the country. So we have family members that need stuff, give us a call, and if we're not here, that's okay. We have a wide reach that we can call anyone in almost any state and some countries now. Since we switched, we have a couple countries we can attach ourselves to. Help you guys with whatever you need. Airbnbs, investment properties, second homes. Tim said the reverse mortgage was something I was not a fan of. And if I heard it, I was like, I'll do it. Because when I was going to Hicks' show, we had a conversation about reverse mortgages, and we were like, I don't know about that. But things have changed, and when we have the right people in the place to give us the great information, teach us the proper way to go about things, this is what we're looking for. So thank you all for coming. Please grab something to eat and drink before you leave. Grab the pamphlets that are provided here by everybody in the room. And thank you all for your time this morning. Have an amazing day.
I mean, we are definitely in the business of helping people. And a lot of people have helped me in my career along the way. So look, I do have a radio show. If you want to promote your business on our show, all right, and we can give you a shout out, or if you have any events coming up, just call me and let me know. All right.
Yeah.